All done. So, good evening, dear colleagues, dear participants, dear friends. I'm glad to welcome you at our online meeting experience of working with forced migrants, Lithuania. My name is Nazarii Boiarskyi, and I'm happy to moderate this online meeting. And I also represent Ukrainian NGO Democratic Initiatives Incubator. This online meeting is organized by the NGO Democratic Initiatives Incubator from Ukraine within the framework of the project, the response of citizenship education to the challenges of forced migration, which is implemented by the working group of EENCE Network, Citizenship Education and Forced Migration, supported by the Federal Agency for Civil Education using funds appropriated by the Federal Foreign Office, Germany. And this event is held for interested people from the Eastern Partnership countries and is a part of a series of meetings dedicated to the experience of working with forced migrants from different countries. And we already represent the experience of Moldova. Today, we're going to talk about Lithuania, and I also look forward because we will have experience from Germany, Georgia, and other countries. Also, as part of this project, we are collecting practice of educational work with forced migrants, and you can still take part in it. I will duplicate the link to our chat, and you can also see link on your screen. So we'll spend the next hour and a half together. Therefore, I would like to draw your attention to the wishes to our joint work. You can see them on your screen. The most important is that we invite you to ask questions and put any comments to our chat. You can use this function in Zoom. Just open a chat. It's like small bottom in instrument panel, and also in the end of the evening you can also use microphone and ask your question. I also would like to say many thanks for all participants who were able to join us here via Zoom platform. I especially thankful participants from Ukraine. We know that these days Russia bombed the energy industry of Ukraine, and more than 30% is affected. Therefore, a large of participants of the who registered for this event cannot participate now. It's why we also do video recording of this event, and we'll be happy to share this video with them and with other people who are not able to watch to join us today. We also send our best wishes and for that people who watching us now via Facebook platform. I have my second device and I carefully watch all your comments there, so be free to write your questions, and I will be happy to read them and ask our speakers. So it was like my small technical information, and I can't wait, to be honest, to introduce our first speaker for of this meeting. And it's an honor for me to introduce Ieva Dirmaitė. She is head of mayor's office, Vilnius City Municipality. Dear Ieva, thank you so much for joining us today, and floor is yours.
So good evening, everybody in Vilnius and in other countries, and especially in Ukraine, because yeah, these past several days were really hard to use. So, but still, from Vilnius, we send you all our support. So stay strong. We are with you. And yeah, so I want to share maybe my presentation and to talk about what Vilnius actually did in well, to support, to help refugees from Ukraine who came from, we are talking from war, running from war, leaving their houses in Ukraine, their lives. And yeah, what we did to help as a municipality with cooperation with NGOs, with business enterprises, and of course with our civil society. So yeah, just a moment, I will share my. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so I believe you should see it already. No?
No.
Okay, just
maybe you can send it to me via chat and I will share.
Oh, we'll try to. Yeah, this.
Oh, this looks like
you can. Yeah,
I see. Yes,
yeah.
we see.
So yeah, Vilnius definitely stands together with Ukraine from the very beginning. Actually, the mayor and myself with other colleagues, I believe, came back like with the last plane from Kiev on the 23rd or 22nd of February, because we went to Mayor Klitschko to meet with him to share our support and whatever help is needed from Vilnius. We wanted, to let know the mayor and the people of Ukraine that we are there for them. So and I remember the first call after that 24th of February, when the first attacks started in Kiev. I got the call from one of our Vilnius partner city, Lviv. A colleague from municipality called. She said, we had a bus full of people, like 50 people, and we are 20 adults, and the rest are children, and one of them is baby of 9-month-old. And we are heading to Poland right now, and we want to come to Vilnius. What we have to do, what are the instructions, and so on. And it really hit me so hard that at that moment I thought, this is it. We need to do something right now to help whatever is needed, no matter the time, because it was like a late evening. No matter the time, no matter what we need and have to do, we have to help all the people who want to come and well, especially when we're talking about children. So yeah, so if we would talk right now about numbers, how many Ukrainians found home in Vilnius? So right now we have around, more than 24,000 Ukrainian refugees in Vilnius. And if we would talk about whole Lithuania, all the state, so this number is almost half of Ukrainian people in Lithuania. So in Lithuania, we have around 60,000 Ukrainians. Yeah, and from this number, from 24,000, 7,000 of them are children who are being taught in our schools. And Ukrainian children go to more than 65 schools in Vilnius. So more than 65 schools in Vilnius have new class friends since February, because we started integrating children into our education system from very beginning. So like from the first days when children came, of course we had this the feeling that children are very traumatized of what happened in Ukraine because of war and so on, because their parents left in Ukraine. Some of them just came, especially teenagers. We had these kind of cases that teenagers came by themselves or with their aunts or grandpas, grandmas. So, it was a challenge again for us, you know, to help those children, not only in that they could have normal lessons and education, but to help for their like to psychological well, health and being at that moment. So yeah, if we talk about the languages, we the children can have classes in 4 languages because we have Russian schools. So some of them chose to go to Russian-speaking schools. But it's not a big number. Actually, this is like the smallest one. When we have the biggest number, around 42% of Ukrainian children who go to Lithuanian schools. Most of the families just thinking about integration and staying here. So they thought that children would go to Lithuanian schools from the very beginning. Then, of course, we have Polish schools. Some of them chose to go to Polish-speaking schools. And yes, we have schools where children are being taught in Ukrainian. And actually, we have several Ukrainian schools, like private schools, whole schools with school children and teachers who came, well, relocated from Ukraine to Vilnius. So we had this Gravitas Škola and now another one from Kharkiv. And actually, this one is very big, around 700 school children. So we are working right now with our Ministry of Education to find the best premises to this school and children. So again, this is what we're working on. And actually, this was a big challenge for Vilnius to take into the education system, let's say 7,000 new school children, when we kind of had this problem that in Vilnius, not all children got the school near their home. They all got in, but not into those schools which were near their houses. So, but somehow, you know, we found the way to manage it. Especially, we had the online lessons. Well, this was kind of the lessons we were taught after pandemic. We had teaching and classes directly from Ukraine when the internet connection was quite good. So online classes is still available in Vilnius as well. So what actually we did from the February with all the support, it was in kind of several directions. So first of all, it was financial support, and our city council in the Thursdays allocated $500,000 directly to Kyiv, as Kyiv city is a partner city with Vilnius. So this was an amount for, you know, medical help, humanitarian aid, and so on. Another amount of money, it was around 300,000 euros, and it was for the medical care, the medicine, equipment. It was sent to Ukraine in February and in March. All the humanitarian aid, and actually this was from day number 1. And here we worked a lot with our NGOs, especially with Red Cross in Lithuania. Other NGOs, as Stiprus Kartu, they really helped with the food, with accommodation, another help which was needed at that moment for the people. So all the basic needs people needed, we kind of were for them there. Another very important direction was support to fight Russian propaganda, because several, let's say, months of the war, first 3 months of the war was crucial with InfoWars, and actually Ukrainian Stratcom did a very great job. But you know, fighting the trolls in social media, it was well, extremely important, you know, to because the war was not only let's say with the guns and so on, but it was with information. So we did a lot of initiatives. You know, I will show later in some pictures what we did in our city and what we scaled even on international level. So so we really worked hard, and actually why we kind of took this because the Mayor Klitschko actually asked us when we asked him, what help do you need from Vilnius? So one of the main things he said, we need that you you know, would talk publicly what is really happening in Ukraine, that Russia started a full-scale war against Ukraine and a free country, you know. So that's why we kind of focus on that very strongly. Of course, a lot of the lots of events and fundraising was and still is going on. Even today, actually, are several events where no fundraising is happening. So each day, I myself, you know, like sending by messages to one of the fund, Blue Yellow, who just give the support and guns and other things to the front, to the warriors, troops in Ukraine. Yes, another one was establishment of a registration center in Vilnius, and it was very important in the first week when the war broke out, because we saw that people who have to travel, let's say, for 5-7 days without sleep, they were really tired, with no money and so on. So it was, I couldn't actually help but seeing those people when our, let's say, ministry asked to go to another city and then come back to Vilnius. So it was really, that was the organization we really don't want to you know, those people get food, because, you know, we were coming out of the war. So we started the preparation to establish the registration center, and in that place, that was like one place where a person who came to Vilnius got let's say all the services he needed at that moment and more, if that could be arranged at that moment in that place. So we just wanted that in one place, a person, you know, just go from there and start living in Vilnius. We focused a lot about integration process with all the help, you know, accommodation, education, health system. Then we had this actually very good, I believe maybe my colleague from Go Vilnius will a bit tell about this, but we kind of adapted a program we had for foreigners who come to Vilnius. We had this meet a local, when a local person meets a foreigner, just introduce what is, you know, nice to see in Vilnius, how to behave in Vilnius, and so on. So we adapted this program, and we call it Be a Friend. When a local person from Vilnius kind of matched with Ukrainian family or a Ukrainian who came to Vilnius, just to be that friend, to help to go through all these, let's say, steps to you know, go get the permission to live in Vilnius and so on. So all those jungles of bureaucracy, let's say. So it was really helpful. And again, we were like the first municipality which suggested and actually prepared our own social benefits and all social package for people who came to Vilnius, because let's say on national level it was too slow. Because we were talking about legislation and the new projects to be admitted in parliament. So, but you know, we were talking about people who were standing and needed money like right now, not after a month. So what we did it from our city budget, and let's say if we had a mother with 2 children, so this family could get around 800 euros as a social benefit to start, let's say, living for the basic needs, accommodation or other things. So yeah, again, those several pictures I wanted to show what we started doing from the very beginning, and we're still doing. So on February 24, what we did that morning, when we heard the news, we actually replaced our Vilnius city flag. This is the near our municipality. So we replaced our flag with Ukrainian flag, just to show our support. But again, it is next to European Union flag, and I believe it is very symbolic here. And these flags, actually, Ukrainian flag is still hanging, and we didn't change that. Yeah, we sent the message. It was, I believe, the first or the second week of the war. So we sent the message to Putin. Putin, the Hague is waiting for you, because yeah, I believe everyone who says, you know, that this person is crazy and so on. No, he's not. I believe he does all those things very consciously, and that's why he has to be, you know, admitted as a normal person who must be well taken and to the Hague and to the justice. So that was our message, which was quite seen around the world, because a lot of TVs, newspapers, portals actually contacted us. You know, could we write a piece or show? So it was very bold from Vilnius part, but usually, actually, we at that time we usually got the question, "Aren't you afraid? Why are you doing this? You know, you are next to this neighbor." Yeah, exactly. That's why, because we are next to this neighbor for, like, I don't know, a lot of years, centuries even. So that's why we're not afraid, and this is the message we wanted to send. Another thing what we did, so this is the street to Russian embassy, and we renamed it as Heroes of Ukraine, or Heroes of Ukraine street, and actually the number of embassy is number 1. So now Russian embassy is Ukrainian Heroes Street number 1. So it's a very good, I think, decision. Actually, it was agreement in our city council, and I saw that other Baltic region cities did the same. Yeah. So another one was with the signs on the road. So actually, we never had the sign from Vilnius to Kiev. And here we have it. And another one is we just wanted to kind of send a message to those drivers who drive trucks from Belarus or to Belarus, as a reminder, you know, to see that the city is not free. So again, it was a message, you know, to just get attention and to talk more about what is really happening in Ukraine. This is actually, this picture is from our Independence Restoration Day, well, the celebration, but we had this huge flag of Ukraine, and a lot of our citizens supported, were, you know, bringing this this flag and just saying Slava Ukraini again to show their support. So and this is still happening. A lot of Ukrainian flags are still hanging around the city. Even my well, now I can call them friends who are living here in Vilnius from Ukraine. They're saying, you know, that the time I came here to Vilnius, I saw so many flags of Ukraine. I didn't believe that this is not Ukraine, that this is Vilnius. So so I believe those people felt a bit of home, a bit of Ukraine here, of those very little symbols. Yeah, a lot of gatherings with our civil society, and of course with Ukrainian community here to again, as often we know, all the support and so all the people were kind of, you know, keeping an eye on all the information feed of what was happening in Ukraine, and they were reacting very quickly. You know, in the morning we know that then something bad happened. In the evening, as a municipality, we give the permission to let's say do, I don't know, some kind of event, fundraising, support action or something. So actually it was really active. What else we did, and it was really helpful, we had this all information, all the questions, and the questions, there were so many of them in the beginning, where I need to go, what you know, documents should I have? If I don't have documents, what should I do with my children? Would they get the you know, the schools and so on? So what we did, we had one website, and we called it ukraina.vilnius.lt, where all the information, all the questions and answers were put online, and each day we kind of got from them, and again we if we had something new, we added it. So it was very you know, lively, the content. And what was good, again, we thought about that, you know, some speak English. We didn't want to have this content in Russian. So what we did, so it was like Lithuanian language, English, and we had this in Ukrainian, so that people could find any information they needed. So this is the picture of our registration center. It was actually the gym of our new school, yeah, our new school. So it was the first thing. What happened here? It was the registration center for the people from Ukraine, but not like the real gym. And it was like for 5 months. So here we had all the services people needed to get. Again, all the basic needs, the medical care if they need it, therapists. Actually, we had a really great and big team of therapists to talk with people, you know, when they came to registration center, because a lot of people were in shock at the moment. So they really needed help from specialists. Well, another thing, it was that Vilnius was kind of a Ukraine voice abroad, and this is actually just several main things we did, but to begin with, what we did, we terminated our partnership agreements with Russia and Belarus. Actually, we never had like working agreement. They want practical working, but it was on paper. But the first thing we did, so we just terminated them and asked to do the same our European colleagues, other partner cities we have, and actually most of them did. Then, of course, visits to Kiev supporting Ukraine. So we were in the end of February. Then I was myself in June in Ukraine, in Kiev. I actually then with humanitarian aid delivery to Bucha, Irpin, and other districts, to Kiev, of course. Another thing what we did, and actually what Zelensky asked at that moment, and the Mayor Klitschko, so they were talking about no-fly zone over Ukraine. And it was really a huge discussion, as I remember, that everybody was talking, but there were no kind of actions. So the mayor of Vilnius initiated a declaration of the cities, starting with Vilnius, to sign this declaration to support no-fly zone over Ukraine. Another thing what we did, again, it was Vilnius mayor's initiative to withdraw Russian and Belarus mayors in very big summit of the mayors in Geneva. And actually it was very big because I was with the mayor in Geneva. So when the Russian ambassador started talking about it, we just stood up and got out of the room. And the rest of the colleagues did the same. So all the room just went out of the and the ambassador left alone speaking whatever he was speaking, again, propaganda. So we were really supporting Ukraine's candidacy for EU member status, and it was in Stockholm. We had this Euro City Summit, and actually a lot of cities, mayors were there, and actually all of them supported this, even before the states did, because let's say mayors of Germany actually supported when the state was kind of, not decided if they support or not the candidacy. And another thing what kind of we established, it was Nordic Baltic mayors meeting format. That was a format how we, the Baltics, kind of started talking about what's really happening in Ukraine for our colleagues from Nordic capitals. Because the mayors of Nordic capitals really wanted to help with financial support, humanitarian, but they didn't have partnerships with Ukraine cities. And they actually didn't know how to get to the cities. So we were kind of that bridge to connect and to help them to just start sending their help to Ukraine. Another initiative of Vilnius was glass sheets to Borodianka, and we actually asked for other cities of Europe to do this. So, I was in Ukraine myself with this first delivery of this glass sheets to windows, because as you see, all those windows were shattered from bombings and attacks. So we sent to Ukraine, I believe right now, around 10 tons of glass sheets to windows. And now we are working with plastic. Well, the Mayor Klitschko met with him in Prague, because, for the winter season, people kind of need those plastic, I don't know, films, so you could say, I believe in English, to put on windows when, again, that the bombings happens. What else can we do, actually? So what I say each day when I'm talking about, Ukraine and how, again, we can help and support, not only here in Vilnius, because I believe we're kind of doing good here, but what we can do more to help Ukraine you know, which fights each day for their freedom and for our freedom. So we can't get tired. We must continue supporting Ukraine, and definitely winter is coming, and it is and it will bring new challenges. And I believe that the second wave of Ukrainian people who will again leave their houses, their home, will be that challenge we will need to embrace. So as a city, as Vilnius, we are preparing for this, and we will do definitely anything we can to help to our brothers and sisters from Ukraine. So, Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава! Thank you so much, dear Ieva, for your presentation. Actually, I would like to say that Ieva should leave us soon. So if you have any questions, please write them right now to our chat or just raise your hand and ask them. Якщо вам буде комфортніше задати запитання українською, ви можете це зробити, я перекладу. And maybe meanwhile our participants thinking about questions, I would like to ask you, dear Ieva. I'm so impressed what Vilnius already did and still doing for Ukraine to support us. So I would like to ask you, you do like many meaningful and like demonstrative kinda like this slogan to Putin about the God, yes, things, and like they like, I even would say courageous act of support, acts of solidarity. So what empower you and give you ideas to do this? Because not many cities so active, and we know that like some governments even afraid of Russia Federation because they can like use, for example, they like energy resources, etc., against some countries and cities. So what empower you? And it's first question. It's second, how you find such a brilliant ideas?
Well, actually, I should say that we have a wonderful mayor. They're creative and they're bold one. And of course, the team is very creative. And, you know, and as you asked, you know, why we do such bold and brave things, you know, because we know this neighbor. We know this neighbor for a very long time. We were fighting for our freedom for, you know, a very long time. We were occupied, so we really know, you know, what it is to fight for your freedom and to pay it in blood, in our people blood. So this is very emotional, actually, because this actually not only this, but that fight for the freedom is a very strong bond, Lithuanians to Ukrainians. So and again, if we can stand there, you know, for you to help to support that fight for freedom, so we definitely will do that. And again, our people, we as our, let's say, community, we were very united, and as I remember, everyone wanted to help, and no matter what, you know, to be a volunteer in registration center, to share, let's say, a room if they have a separate one, whatever is needed, you know, everyone wanted to help, because nobody could, you know, believe that the real war is happening in the 21st century. So that was, and still is, a tragedy of you know, of people, of Europe, of the world, because innocent people are being killed even right now. And so just we have to do everything we can to stop this as soon as possible. And there is no room for to be afraid of something, because you have to just do it and be bold here.
Thank you so much. And we have two more questions. One from our participant, Polina, please.
Hello, Ieva. To be honest, I know Ieva personally, and I didn't expect to meet her here. I registered for the conference, the last moment, and it was a great surprise to see you on the screen. So, yeah. What I wanted to say, maybe it's not a question, I just wanted to add that me as a refugee, myself, I went through all this periods that of support and I felt it myself, and it's all truth. There is nothing like overtold or something, and it's really gorgeous how Lithuania and Vilnius was by Ukrainian side. And just a little example of how good it all worked. I know that in the migration center, which just in a month became not just a registration center, but the center with all kind of support and help and informational support that Ukrainians could have. It worked so interactively that as soon as they, for example, felt the need from Ukrainian women who were asking not how to get the financial help, but where to find the job, they immediately put their the representatives of job agency, and Ukrainians were able to leave their CVs there to ask about the actually job opportunities, and it was really helpful. And this is how interactively it worked, and I believe it really was felt like everywhere in each sphere. So I believe that example of Vilnius is really great, and I really felt it myself as a refugee. So thank you once again and again for your help.
Thank you a lot, dear Polina, for sharing your personal experience and kind of like proof of our words. Thank you so much. And we have one more question. I just would like to find it. Yes, it's participant Natalia asked, dear Ieva, you mentioned about psychological support for refugees, and Natalia asked you to tell a little bit more how it's organized, which programs Vilnius have, etc.
Yeah, so actually, when we started preparing to establish a registration center, the first idea was, and I suggested that to have a big team of therapists for psychological help for people who will come, because we had in first several days we had let's say examples that we really need this help for people, because we saw young women who were like 8 or 9 months pregnant, and just they were denying that they were pregnant. That was the situation and the people what they felt. So children were crying, were hiding when somebody was, I don't know, giving a bigger sound of something, So we really needed, to start talking with people to help to share their, experience, and it was very, very sad, very, black even, I would say, experience, but it was again the opportunity to not feel alone in this situation. So that's why we had a very big team of around, let's say, 40, I believe, therapists who were sitting in the registration center. They had they were changing in smaller teams, and they worked, as I remember, one team 12 hours, then another team replaced them. But they worked 24/7, you know, because well, people were coming 24/7. So at that time it was really important, and we really need to continue to do that.
Thank you so much. I think it's time to say you thanks to join us and find time. I would like to say personally also that many friends of mine and my colleagues are refugees also and choose to stay in Vilnius. And it's not only about like economic support which a city gives to them, but also about all what you like shared with us, all this like energy, atmosphere which you give. So I would like personally to say thank you and the Vilnius City Municipality for all your support to Ukraine and to the Ukrainian community in Vilnius as well. It means a lot for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me this evening. And you know, I saw Ukrainian people's eyes when I was in Ukraine those several times, and you people are very courageous, and I believe, you know, that that very soon we're gonna have victory. So again, Slava Ukraini, Героям слава.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Bye. Have a good evening. And I have a pleasure to introduce our next speaker. It's Agnė Goldbergaitė. She is project manager of International House Vilnius, and I look forward to hear more about International House Vilnius and activities which you do, because I know some of them, and I think that it's super good example for other countries to do something same. So we look forward to hear how you're doing this.
Well, good evening, everyone. And Nazarii, thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you so much for having International House Vilnius here sharing the experience. Actually, I can see that among the participants, there is my dear colleague, beautiful Jana from Ukraine. But today, she usually actually does the workshops and the seminars that I will tell you more about. But today it's going to be me presenting the International House of Vilnius experience. And actually, my presentation and my part would be getting more into details about what was done and how it was implemented. Some of them will go even like deeper to the details, just like a very hands-on organizational stuff that was implemented. Okay, let me just quickly share my presentation that will help me. Okay, let's do this. Can you see my screen? Right? Yeah. Okay. Good. So quickly, let's just go through the agenda. What we're going to be talking about today. I will quickly introduce what the International House of Vilnius is doing, the general activities that we're implementing, and then we'll jump to the part of the actually working with the forced migrants, in this case, Ukrainians fleeing the war. Then I'll introduce the mentorship program, the friend that Ieva briefly mentioned, and then the Lithuanian language classes, workshops, and the events that we carried, and then we can go straight to the Q&A session. So the International House of Vilnius was established almost a year ago. So we are pretty young, and we working as a center, as a one-stop shop. And we provide the support to the international talents coming to Vilnius. We work with their relocation and integration processes to the capital of Lithuania. And we're part of the Go Vilnius, official state development agency, and Invest Lithuania, country's investment and promotion agency. So basically, we're under Vilnius Municipality and the Ministry of the Big Economy. So this is our main mission is the soft landings for international talents taking big steps to Vilnius, and we originally were established for their relocation and integration process. Under one roof, as I mentioned, we work as a one-stop shop. We have this various institutions that are very much needed for the internationals relocating to Vilnius. So at one place and one day, they can have all the questions, answers regarding, I don't know, like if they have any social insurance questions, migrational procedures, tax inspectorate is there. So just one click away with the scheduled meeting, you can access all of those things at once. On the bigger scale, and that was with the help of our Ukrainian colleagues, Ieva, we managed to have lots and lots of workshops and seminars in the various very hot topics for the internationals here in Vilnius. So we have workshops on the tax questions, on the I don't know, how to find a job, where to how to put your child into the kindergarten. Very like hands-on information would be given, and then we presented to the various bodies like universities, companies, and stuff like this. And then also we do very practical excursions. They're for the people who just came to the city, and the excursion, it's not like you look at our beautiful beautiful city, but it's like how to buy a public transportation ticket, how to do the car sharing, like very practical stuff like this. And also we do like a very big events that would help foreign community to integrate here faster and better. For example, we had twice already land the job event that the companies would have their stand at one place, and if a foreigner would get matched with the company and have a few job interviews at once. And we also had an amazing summer festival where we just gathered almost like 500 foreigners at one place and just had a good time and while networking and actually getting some information for the discussions. And here, let me stop and about International House of Vilnius, what we do, and jump to the beginning of the war in Ukraine. So as soon as it started, we entered the let me call it like we had 2 stages. Okay, so first one was the chaos and the unknown of what is happening, what we should do. We had a very little time to get everything straight. So the very first day among us in the Go Vilnius International House Vilnius, we gathered volunteers and we gave the start to the hotline that was open to everyone fleeing to call and get any information they need. And the line was just literally very hot, and the calls were coming in, and the main questions would start being like, how do I get to Lithuania? How do I get to Vilnius? What's going to happen? What to do if I don't have a passport? Like stuff like this. And honestly, some of the questions we will not be able to answer, but we think it became as a great psychological support that somebody is actually picking up the phone on the other side. We had to quickly shift our focus, you know, like diminish our focus of where we usually do, and shifted to the whole actually Vilnius and Lithuania did. We shifted our focus on finding the ways how we can accommodate the Ukrainians, how can we help, like every and each of us. So we analyzed what is needed and start planning just now activities that we can be doing, and I will tell you about them later. And at the beginning, it was a lot of solving the individual cases, you know, like we would receive the call, and then it would be anything from I don't know, like a sick child with the family trying to reach Lithuania to Ukrainians already in Vilnius asking where can they sleep because the registration center did not open right away. Actually, it was one of the volunteers opening the registration center here in Vilnius. I volunteered day and night there, so I saw the whole process from the beginning till the very last day. So yeah, so it was a lot of helping the individual cases, and they were very diverse. They vary from people to people. And then there is a second stage, the identification and like grouping the problematics that are arising, and together with the partner thinking of the common answers to those grouped arised questions and the problems. So what we are actually we're doing, let me show you what we're doing. This is the Excel sheet, the screenshot of the Excel sheet, all right, that we would be writing down the time and the day when the call was collecting, the volunteer who actually were talking, the question that we were raised, and the answer that we were gave. And this helped us to paint the picture of what is actually needed from those coming. For example, if we would see that a lot of people are asking, well, how to get from the train or a bus station to the registration center that was at the time already opened, and then we would like prepare the answer for it. And if we would see like everyone is very much in need of the information, like where can they get warm clothes, and we'll prepare the answer for that. And everything was placed on our website. This is how our website, it's of course similar to the Vilnius Municipality, what they had. This was, and it still is being updated. It has like a harmonica of the very much needed topics like healthcare, education, transportation, stuff like this. So all those questions that were arising, you can just look at the website and find an answer. But of course, not, you know, like you're fleeing the war and you're not gonna be looking at, oh, let me Google the International House of Vilnius, or oh, let me Google the something, you know, like you actually seek for the information from the in the groups of where all the Ukrainians are, whether it would be like a Signal or WhatsApp or anything like that. And with the help of our Ukrainian colleagues, we were able to identify those social media groups where we can actually share the information that is needed, and the information would actually reach the target audience that is meant to be distributed to. So yeah, and then there was the next step that we were thinking about, like, well, we should like come up with the projects and the activities that would take a longer time, and they would be actually helpful for not like just ad hoc situations, but serve for everyone a bit longer. And that's Befriend, the mentorship program that was created for Lithuania together with the Go Vilnius. And once we actually it had like two project managers that were starting to work on it, and then the concept and like the reasoning why we needed was created because we saw that first of all, we cannot like answer every individual case that it's there, and then we thought who can help us, and obviously the locals themselves are the best people to just say and help in their hometown, you know, like, and support the individual families or like single people with the children, or single moms and stuff like this. So we analyzed and we planned, and then we launched the program, and it was absolutely amazing how many Vilnius locals and became the volunteers instantly, you know, like the numbers were above that we are matching. So yeah, just so you know, like currently we have like 429 matches made, and then we had much more volunteers still waiting on their match. So shortly, let me tell you how this program works. Is that this is the matching page, or let me call it like the matching website. Like if you're Ukrainian, and right now this program is serving for all foreigners coming to Vilnius, but at that time it was only for Ukrainians created. If you want to be a mentee and you need a mentor, you just come on our website, and there is this application that you need to fill in. It has like various questions, whether what languages you speak, are you looking for a job, are you here like with your family, are you a student, are you like an elderly person, if you're a single mom or anything like this. And have the questions like, do you want to meet online? Do you want to meet face-to-face? Are you interested in learning Lithuanian language? Then there's like empty spot left to ask whether, is there anything you want to mention about yourself? Because in that way, it would be much easier for the project managers to match you very correctly. Because the information the application collects, like, okay, like if you're in the photography, we're definitely going to match you with someone who is into photography, you know, like and stuff like this. And it was in the few languages. So when the mentor fills in the application, and he fills the application, then we are manually matching the pairs. And then it's up to them to meet, and up to them to establish on what basis are they having their the friendship. So this matching platform definitely worked. It came at a great help. Also, what was immediately created was the Facebook group for the mentors, who will be communicating with the mentees, and we gave them lots of advices, and also like online workshops were given to them, you know, and stuff like this. And then also what really worked is that mentors themselves involved in the events where we could be promoting this befriend, because still online tools did not come as the first big tool to actually reach the Ukrainian. It was the live events that they were gathering. We had like Saturday children activities. Every Saturday we had them even near the this river, and then there we would have a stand, and there would be promoting the Befriend program, and then explain to the Ukrainians like face to face what it's about, because sometimes it's, you know, it's all about the wording of communication. Sometimes it wasn't clear for them what kind of mentorship, what kind of friendship program is this, what could they really get out of it, you know, like what happens if I don't like the mentor, like the questions like this, you know. So definitely like promotion of live events and all the live communication came in a great success. Here's just a couple of examples of the feedback that we collected, because I think that the feedback and the success stories to show to others are very important. So for those who maybe did not think that they want or need from, now they can see what actual benefit it is bringing, and some of them were like really beautiful. Challenges that we faced throughout this program was maybe like not enough matching criteria, or some of the matching criteria wasn't clear enough, and sometimes there weren't like true matches that they didn't continue. Of course, mentor group differentiation, the volunteers, some of them, for example, would have like lots and lots of young people wanting to volunteer, but then there will be like more single or women with the families above like 50, 60 years, and then we don't want to, you know, like match them with someone very young. We want to match them to the person as close to them as possible. So this was also a challenge. Then, of course, the different challenges and experiences of the mentees. It's the mentees and they were obviously very different with their very different needs, and not every time the mentor would be able to accommodate them. And then keeping in touch is also was and is one of the challenges, is that you know, like people were going back home to Ukraine, and not always just like a friendship stops, and then there's unclearness like what the mentor should do, and then he writes us. So we're still working on this continuation and the quick shift to another mentor-mentee couple process. So this much about the befriend. If you have any questions, I will make sure to answer them later on. And then Lithuanian language courses that first of all would come in as not only the place where Ukrainians would be able to learn the languages. It's not about the, you know, like learning the grammar or anything like that. It's more about the going there to, you know, spend time to learn about the locals and learn like phrases, you know, like labas, ačiū, and how are you, and stuff like this. This actually courses are implemented with our dear colleagues from the Speak. It's an organization that carries out lots of different language courses, and it's that's where the volunteers are coming in. So the volunteers are implementing the classes. And yes, so the classes would take for like a month and a half. We would have obviously lots of people wanting to join. We unfortunately couldn't accommodate them all, so that was one of the challenges, because we were sometimes lacking the volunteers. And then it was very beautiful to see how this served as the further integration tool, because when the classes would be over after the sessions, like after those month and a half, we would hear and know that they actually spend time, you know, at the coffee shops, still trying to learn some Lithuanian, like together, and spending time together with their like new friends here in Lithuania. And then there were very, very useful workshops that were implemented by my colleague Ieva, and we're very happy with this part, because you know, like when you're in the very foreign country, you don't know how it works, you know nothing, you know, and there's one way to just like, you know, like Google the information on the internet, and there is another way that we find much more efficient, is actually getting a first-hand information from the person, where you can ask a billion questions and get the answers right away. So we identified the most needed topics for the Ukrainians that they need to know, like how to find a job, how to find I don't know, where to send your children to school and stuff like this. And of course, those workshops would have a Q&A section that would go for sometimes an hour and more, because the people would just have so many questions. But we were Really happy to answer them all. And of course, the numbers of the participants were really big, identifying that the workshops were very much needed. So you can find those right now online on our YouTube. You also on the corner can see the my colleague Jana's face delivering the workshop and the seminar that she were hosting. So yeah, and then there was this huge event that my colleague Ieva didn't mention, or I missed it. It was Vilnius Šivanka. It was a Vishivanka, let's just call it like that. Couple of days event that carried throughout the whole Vilnius, and it was meant to show that Europe is waiting for Ukrainians. Vilnius is waiting for Ukrainians. We're very welcoming. And also we had our befriend stand there. We got a lot of new mentees and the mentors willing to have those friendships needed. So the Vishivanka served as the ground for just for the various events where Ukrainians, you know, like can have their mind somewhere else besides, you know, like very much focusing on those terrible stuff that's going in Ukraine, and just our aim was to make them feel like at home. You can actually check out our social media, and you can see the communication that we were, like if you scroll back, you can see the communication that we were implementing for the Ukrainians and how we were providing the information for them, etc. And then we continue to do so. So this is it from me, and I hope you have some questions.
Thank you a lot, dear Agnė. Actually, we already have few questions. I just maybe would like to ask you to close your presentation if you don't need it anymore, and we'll be able to see you better. Thank you so much. And one first question actually from a registration form, and you partly answered this already, but maybe you'll do some accents in focus. So how do you find topics for educational activities? Do you conduct surveys, focus groups, or other methods?
So actually the hotline and the continuous interaction, like the daily interaction with the Ukrainians coming, helped us to analyze the need. We gather, you know, like you saw the Excel sheet that we had, we gathered the most common questions that we have, and we see what is the need. And actually the hotline that we had itself went through the different stages. First of all, obviously it was how to get to Lithuania. Like everybody would be concerned on how to get it. Will I have anywhere to sleep? Will I have something to eat? Just basic stuff like this. And then the first wave happened, then it diminished slowly, and then we had the second wave that was the integrational process. Okay, I'm here, you know, like I have something to eat, I know where I'm staying, like what do I do here, like how do I find a job, you know, like where my children are gonna go, like what are they gonna do after school if I'm working, like just stuff like this, you know. And that's we were analyzing it constantly from those daily interactions. We were in the team all the time communicating among ourselves, and we indicate the topics that is needed.
Thank you so much. Second question, and Polina, I see your hand, all good. A second question from Ksenia. She asked you which integrative programs were most effective, in your opinion.
I think it's definitely the befriend, where you actually find another person that is generally interested in, let's not call it a help, you know, like interested in having a friendship with you, you know, like they're interested of you feeling at Vilnius like you feel at home, you know. So, and I think that one served the best.
Thank you. Dear Polina?
Good evening again. Do you hear me? Because I
Yes.
switched on my...
All good.
Okay, thank you. So just to summarize, you had this type of integration activities, the mentorship program Befriend Vilnius, then live events like job fair and practical excursion for those who came, I don't know, Ukrainian or not only Ukrainian, and also this webinars that you're providing, yeah, and they are still
and
available
Lithuanian
on
language
the
courses.
and the Lithuanian language, right? And they're still the webinars. I mean, are they still available somewhere in the social media or?
Yeah, Befriend is definitely. Oh, sorry, sorry. This the sound is behind. I can't hear you. Polina?
Polina,
Yes, I can
yourself.
hear you. I can hear you.
So I don't know if I missed like the part of it, but
I got it. So I can find, for example, those webinars. I can find it on your social page, yeah, and I mean on Facebook.
On YouTube, yes, and the Facebook.
And YouTube. Okay, thank you. And the second question, what plans do you have for future? No, maybe you already planned some other programs, mentorship or something. And do you plan actually to work with Ukrainian refugees, or are you planning to focus more on this, high qualified immigrants or something?
Thank you. Actually, as we speak, my colleague Jana just posted in the chat the upcoming events on Facebook that are open for everyone, not only like highly qualified talents relocating. Of course, our mission is the starting mission is still there. We do our job, but the Befriend is still happening, and it's continuing strong, and there's still volunteers very much ready to befriend the Ukrainians that are coming. Lithuanian language courses will be available again. Right now we have them only in English, but right now we are currently very much looking for the volunteers to implement them in another language. And yeah, the workshops, they still continue, and anyone is welcome to join. We definitely don't communicate that our events are for highly qualified talents, because it's not true. It's for every foreigner that is here in the Vilnius trying to relocate and integrate.
Maybe we have some other questions, so it's like kind of like last call. Because it's time to finish. Якщо ви маєте ще запитання, можливо, чи коментарі, то, будь ласка, не соромтесь запитувати також і українською. Я радо перекладу, якщо є потреба. Маємо завершувати. Looks like no. So then I think it's my time to just close this event and like one more time say thanks you a lot, dear Agnė, and also I would like to say thanks for your colleague, which you actually mentioned, Diana. Thank you a lot for your openness to cooperation, and that you decided to spend this evening with us and help us with information. Thank you for this.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and just a second, I would like to share my screen one more last time, I guess. So actually, I would like to say that now I will also send to our chat evaluation form, and I would like to ask all participants to fulfill it. It's help us a lot to organize next activities, and also it's like answer from our side how we find next topics. So we use your answers. So please do it. Do it for us, and. I one more time would like to say that this online meeting was conducted by the NGO Democratic Initiatives Incubator, and from Ukraine within the framework of the project, the response of citizenship education to the challenges of forced migration, which is implemented by the working group of the EENCE Network, Citizenship Education and Forced Migration, supported by the Federal Agency for Civil Education, using funds appropriated by the Federal Foreign Office in Germany. I, like my ending words, would like to say that Vilnius and Lithuania is really doing a lot to support Ukraine and the Ukrainian refugees in Lithuania, in Vilnius. And I hope that this work will be an example for other cities and countries. And one more time, thanks a lot for our speakers for such a detailed presentation. And I think now educational providers from other countries would just watch our online meeting and do something like this in their communities. So thank you so much one more time, and see you on our next events upcoming.
Thank you, Nazarii, and have a good evening, everyone.